Well, spring training and the WBC are in the rearview mirror, and another Phillies regular season is upon us. It begins Thursday afternoon at home this year, and we're going to preview the 2026 Phillies season with the terrific radio voice of the Phils, Scott Franzke. Scott, great to see you again.
Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's start with some of the newcomers. You got to see this guy play a bit down in Florida over the past month. The rookie center fielder, Justin Crawford. What are your impressions of him?
Polished kid, seems to be pretty mature for his age. I think he's excited about the opportunity. He's got a lot of ability, a lot of talent. He'll have his moments. He'll have his struggles as well with any rookie in Major League Baseball. But he obviously proved that he could handle the AAA level, and now the next test, of course, is in the big leagues. So, he held his own in spring training. He certainly wasn't, over the top, if you will, but he didn't fall on his face either. So, he gets the job, and we'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. Now, Crawford's going to be in center field most days, and there's a new guy in right also, Adolis Garcia. He's never hit above 250 in his career, but he did have 25-plus homers from 2021 through 24 before tailing off a bit last year. How do you think he'll do in this Phillies lineup?
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see because I know they've worked with him a lot on some different things. They've made some tweaks with his stance, his setup. They want to get him in the strike zone, if you will. He's a guy who will chase a lot. So they want to try to figure that out, get him back in the strike zone in terms of pitch selection. He's a tremendous outfielder. He's going to be a big upgrade defensively for the club. So that's in your back pocket. But whether he hits or not remains to be seen, obviously. Got a lot of pop. He's not going to be the focal point of the offense, and I think that might help him take some of the pressure off him, and we'll see. I think they hope that taking some of the pressure off will make a big difference for Adolis, and he's a great teammate. Already got a built-in friend. One of his longtime friends in baseball is Edmundo Sosa, and so he's fitting right in the clubhouse. That's not a problem at all.
Mm-hmm. All right, now with Ranger Suarez gone and Zach Wheeler not quite ready to go just yet, we're finally going to see Andrew Painter on a big league mound. He had a couple of great starts down in Florida, and man, he looks really confident and composed out there, does he not?
Yeah, and this is another guy like Crawford. Crawford grew up in a big league clubhouse with his dad, of course, but has been around big league players throughout his life as a high schooler and working his way up and being a draft prospect. Andrew's the same way. He's been working out with guys in South Florida at that Cressy Pitching Institute, and he's been doing that since he was a teenager. So he's been around Max Scherzer. He's been around Jesus Luzardo. He's seen what it takes for those guys, the kind of work they put into the offseason. Again, very polished young man, very bright, handles himself well with the media, all those things. I do not think anything on the mound is going to phase him necessarily. And again, he looked pretty good in spring training. I know they had to work with his arm slot a little bit. He felt like he lost some of that last year, but it looks pretty good so far this season.
Yeah. Like last year, the rotation should be a real strength. Two different publications I saw had them in the top 5 or 6 in Major League Baseball, even with a rookie Painter in there and Wheeler likely to miss the first couple of weeks of the season. How good are the two lefties now, both of whom just got contract extensions, Jesus Luzardo and Christopher Sanchez?
I can't think of another club with two lefties other than the Tigers that could compare. Skubal and Valdez, a pretty good 1-2 punch in terms of lefties. I guess you could say the Red Sox with Crochet and Ranger, a couple of lefties there. But, Sanchez and Luzardo are remarkable. Just electric stuff. Sanchez he continues to amaze me how good he's become. He knows what he's doing on the mound. He's got 3 pitches, but they're either plus or plus pitches when you look at the stuff. Luzardo, he might still have more room to grow, in fact. And I think it's great for not only for him, but also for the organization, knowing he knows now where he's going to be. He's not pitching necessarily for a contract, and there can be a lot of pressure that goes along with that. So I think those two guys, again, as good a combo of lefties as you're going to find in Major League Baseball.
I read Todd Zalecki's Phillies Beat newsletter this morning, and he made a couple of bold predictions. Bryce Harper will have one of his best years of his career, and Bryson Stott will make his first All-Star team and finish in the top 5 for NL batting title. Wouldn't that be nice?
Would be. It would kind of, I think, deliver on the promise of what he looked like as a first rounder.
Yeah.
He made substantive changes to his swing late last season, and they seemed to work, carried over into the spring. It seems to still be working. So in that respect, it wouldn't shock me. I think it's what they always kind of envisioned for a guy like him, that he has that kind of potential. And I think it would be great to see. As for Harp, I think a lot of people are betting on the fact that, maybe he's going to take those not elite comments and really run with them and use it perhaps as some personal motivation. And, he's got goals and things in his mind that he wants to do better and change over last year. So we'll see.
Alec Bohm survived being on the trading block each of the last couple of winters. He remains the Phillies' third baseman. Is this the year that maybe we finally see more power from him, 20-plus home runs?
Well, he's gotten to that point before, and I think he's certainly got it in the tank. He got off to such a tough start last year. I just love the way he's handled everything. I mean, he's just going about his work. And, Alec has been fairly consistent offensively when you look at the full body of numbers over the course of his career with the Phillies. Obviously, he's had his ups and downs defensively. Last year did not drive in as many runs as they were hoping for. And again, got off to that tough start, did not hit as many home runs as they thought. But 2 years ago, or was it 3, he got to 97 runs batted in, I think.
Yep.
And he can be that kind of a guy where he's going to hit in this lineup. And, I just love the way he's gone about it. Didn't let the Bo Bichette stuff bother him. Didn't let the trade rumors the year before really get to him. I think he's poised for a good year.
Let's talk about the bullpen. Johan Duran will be there right from the start of the season this year, which is nice. They added Brad Keller. He's going to get a lot of work as a setup guy after a solid year with the Cubs. Ryan Kirkering, Jose Alvarado, Tanner Banks, all back as well. This should be a pretty good pen, right?
I would think so. 7, 8, 9, Alvarado, Keller, and Duran. When you look at the full season, I mean, assuming they stay healthy,
sure,
that's a 3-headed monster there at the end of games that you didn't have, except for, in Duran's case, it was a couple of months. Alvarado's case, it was, maybe 8 weeks, the first, 6 to 8 weeks of the season before he was suspended. It was never, obviously, when he came back, was not the same guy. But I think if you think about it, it's not just the one upgrade with Keller in the bullpen. In a way, it's 3 upgrades because you're adding Duran and Alvarado for a full season, which you didn't have last year. So I think it could be it's going to be a real luxury for the manager, I know, to plan out the end of games.
With the exception of Ranger Suarez, Matt Strom, and Nick Castellanos, most of the core guys are back this year. Kyle Schwarber and JT Realmuto getting nice new contracts to stick around. But everybody is another year older also. Could this be the last hurrah for this core lineup?
Well, this core lineup is still under contract. So this core lineup is still going to be there for a few more years. Obviously, we don't know what 27 looks like with all the labor issues and all that on the horizon. But, everybody gets older a little bit more every year. But I will say this, guys are able to sustain their careers longer now than they ever have been because of training methods and conditioning and nutrition and all the things we know about now that we didn't know 20 years ago, certainly didn't know 40 years ago. And I think all these guys apply it. They work full time on it, if you will. By that, I mean not only during the season, but off season. So who's to say that it's a last hurrah? I mean, name wise, they're all going to be there, but performance wise, that's another question.
How is the new ABS ball strike challenge system going to work this year? Is that a good thing for the game? How does Larry feel about it?
Yeah, I think he feels good that there is a way to get an egregiously wrong call right. Obviously, I think it's going to be fascinating to watch how the usage strategy unfolds, when to use it, who uses it more often early in games. who saves one in their back pocket for late in a game, those kinds of things. Do the hitters challenge more often than the catchers or pitchers? I think it'll be fascinating to watch. But I do think it's nice that baseball is fun. And it won't be perfect. But I do think it's nice that baseball has a spot where, look, if there's a really bad call near the end of a game or in a big spot in the 7th or 8th inning, there's some recourse for a player to do something about it.
The NL East should be really interesting this year. Over-unders for Braves, Phillies, Mets, all right around 88, 89, 90, 91. Atlanta, of course, hit with injuries yet again this spring. Seems to happen all the time. The Mets got a new top-of-the-rotation guy. They still have Juan Soto, of course. The Phillies, we talked about them. Could this be a 3-team race?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, health is everything. These teams are all built to win 90-plus games, but health will be a big determining factor as to whether or not they do win 90-plus games. But I would expect all 3 teams to be, given that they're healthy, I would expect all 3 teams to be very much a part of the conversation all summer.
Hey, it is going to be fun. And, Scott, as you can see, I'm wearing a Parlez-vous Franzke T-shirt.
All right.
I need to know, how many of these do you have in your closet at home?
I might have one. I'll tell you, my kids have a few. Mark Adams, a great guy at Hog Island Press who makes those shirts. He's been kind enough to get us some youth sizes of those same shirts. So my kids wear them. None of their classmates have any idea what it means. They're like, what is that? I don't get it. But yeah, it's cute. It's fun. And again, the kids have more of those than I do.
Awesome. All right, Scott, thanks for keeping this annual tradition alive. Let's hope for a great Phillies season. Great to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Hey, Chet, I know everybody has just been on the edge of their seats as we've teased throughout the show that our annual Fearless Phillies prediction is coming down. Tonight's the night with just one Richie Ashburn day away from the opener.
Yeah, exactly. So I did sneak this picture on earlier. Everybody looking for the Phillies to win somewhere around 90 games. Our buddy Boop checked in. He's looking for 95. He is always very optimistic. Phil Stifle, our buddy at Trending in the AM, goes for 90, but the Mets win the East. Big Al, 93. James Seltzer and Jack Fritz from WIP, both 93 wins. How about Bill Colarulo from 97.5? He is at 92. Ricky Bottalico, heard him today. He agrees with Bill, 92 wins. Bill's not sure who's going to win the East, but 92 wins either way. Todd Zalecki, 93 wins. I checked in with Todd. He said the Phils will win the East. And Todd is optimistic about Harper and Stott having great years. Paul Hagen, who we're going to have on the show next week, goes with 90. Tim Kelly, 90 wins, but the Mets win the East. That's what Paul said as well. So, we shall see. Matt Watson, 92 wins, and the Phils win the East. Going to be interesting, Bill. So you want to go first? What say you?
Well, I'm going to go with – I'm going to surprise you on this, I think. They're going to win 94 games. They're going to win 94 games. They're going to win the East, and they're going to do it handily. The Mutts are still the Mutts. Now, with that said, I got a couple key players that we got to think about here. One is Jose Alvarado. He's got to be not good. He's got to be really good, and he's got to be consistent. Tanner Banks is another one I've got circled, Chet. He's been really good. He needs to still be really good. And Aaron Nola. I mean, they have to get a good year from Nola, especially with Zach Wheeler out to start the season. Nola needs to be really good. And if Wheeler can't come back, my fourth guy, Taijuan Walker, he pitched great in the spring. He pitched great in the tournament. He needs to be able to step up if they need him. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're counting on a lot of guys, and of course, you got to have good health. That was another factor. And the Braves haven't had that. The Braves have a rash of injuries every year, and that's the case again this year. I'm a little worried about the Mets. We know the Mets typically do Met things and fade off, but
They're still the Mutts.
now this is from MLB.com Mets beat writer Anthony DiComo. This is what he said in his piece. As the Phillies slowly age out of relevance and the Braves deal with a myriad of pitching injuries, the Mets will lock up the division by mid-September. Ooh.
How many times we heard that?
Yeah, I know. All right. My prediction, Bill, 90 wins for the Phillies, but don't hate me. I think the Mets are going to win 92 and win the division. The good news, Phillies will be a wild card team. And, from then on, who knows? So there's all the predictions, including yours and mine. You're at 94. I'm at 90 and second place for the Phillies.
Who were
Sorry,
those
everybody.
cats at the bottom there? Matt Snyder and Fangraphs. Who were those cats?
Yeah, Matt Snyder works for CBS. I just saw a piece from him the other day. He went under 89.5, which is the Vegas over-under for the Phillies. So he just doesn't think they're going to get the over. Fangraphs is one of these, analysis things, and they have the Phillies at 87 wins and the Mets and Braves both at 88. So hope that's not right.
I'm usually not I try to be more the realist than the super excited guy. But I think this team, we lose sight, and I think Scott Franzke said this a little bit, about the playoffs. They won 96 games last year. And yeah, we ran it back, but we've added some pieces that hopefully make them better. So from 96 to 90 to 88, I don't see that happening. I think they're going to be in that 94, 93. And I don't know. The Mets spent a lot of money, but are the Mets all that much better than the Phillies? Did they get better players than the Phillies by spending all that money?
Freddie Peralta is a real good pitcher. So he's a Cy Young candidate. I think he was in the top 5 last year in the running. He's a good pitcher. He's going to be a big plus for them. I think Juan Soto is going to have a real good year. Last year he was okay. I think he's going to have a great year this year. Bo Bichette.
He's still Juan Soto.
Yeah, I hope Bo Bichette falls flat on his face and that deal, comes back to haunt them. But we'll see. You know what else? Bryce Harper said something interesting the other day. He's going to have better at-bats this year, and he has a goal of 140 to 150 walks. That ain't going to happen. I'll tell you that right now. But I hope he does have better at-bats because he swung at the first pitch, I think 53% of his at-bats last year, and a portion of those were not even in the strike zone. So, you got to work the pitchers a little more, and you got to be a little bit more selective. So I hope Bryce is right about, having better at-bats. So we shall see.
Well, I'm going to say this about that. And then the first time we get a chance to be live with one of these guys, I would ask Scott this today if I had been there. Bryce Harper plays, when he's at the plate, he plays angry. He swings angry.
Violent swings, yes.
Right. And if he is going to be able to discipline himself to walk 100, 120, 100, probably 140 is not possible, but if he can walk 100 or 120 times and be more disciplined at the plate, does it help him stay healthy?
That would be good.
Right?
Every year he seems to have a little bit of an injury problem.
Well, he gets tweaks, he gets muscle issues and, things like that.
The wrist, the back,
Yeah, I mean, he plays the game violently and he plays all out. He plays all out when he's in the field, and he plays, he swings like he's hitting the ball to the moon every time he gets a whack at it.
Bill, we're going to be talking lots of Phillies baseball for the next 5 or 6 months. So that's a good thing. We like talking baseball, and it's going to be a fun spring and summer, hopefully, in South Philadelphia.